Hey, welcome back. This is Travis here with Stevens Truck Power. We got an 871 ISX in our shop that we're doing an overhaul on, and we've done videos on these before and also with cutting counterbores before. We're going to do another one here also, just we get lots of requests for this stuff, and explain to you why we cut the counterbore. So the liner sits in the hole here. Obviously they're all out and we're cleaned up. Cylinder liner goes in there. It actually sits on this ledge right here, and that ledge is the counterbore, and that's what we're dealing with today. As the truck goes down the road, that ledge gets a little bit worn because these liners do move in here, and they'll wear this ledge out. So if we were to overhaul this and just go ahead and put it back together, it would probably run for a while. What we want is we want that cylinder protrusion where it's supposed to be, and if it's not where it's supposed to be, we're going to have a premature head gasket failure, possible, you know, anything else, liner leaking, whatever. So we want this counterbore to be true and as straight as we can get it. So what we'll do is we'll put a tool on here that will go down to this ledge that I just showed you, and it'll cut that ledge down really as far as we want to cut it, but we're going to go 20 thousandths, and then we'll put a 20 thousandth shim back on it. So during that 20 thousandths process, anything that's, you know, because it could be low here or high here, during that process we'll get it trued up, and then we'll put a shim in it and bring that liner back up to where it's supposed to be. So today I got this sitting here. This is the master, they call it. So basically it shows me the actual height that these liners should be. So this is from here to here is the actual height in the block that it should be. So we're zeroed right there, as you can see on the gauge. And it's kind of hard to see. Right there, we're zeroed. So if this liner was, or this block, I keep calling it a liner, sorry. If this block was exactly the way it should be, this should land on 0 when I set this in here. And we are about 5 thousandths to 6 thousandths. Oh, that one's, I guess we're about 4 thousandths right there, as you can see. So here's the 0 mark, and this is where we're at. I always double check the measurement, triple check, because the gauge can get moved very easily. Okay, we're good. Going back down there on that counterbore. Really hard to see, sorry. But yeah, there's our 0 mark right here. This is where we're at. So that's how low we are right now. And so if we were accurate and it was actually up here, our protrusion would be somewhere around 14 thousandths, sorry. So right here we're already at possibly 10 without even putting it back together. So we're going to go ahead and cut this block, and I'll say it just because someone's probably going to ask, but no, we're not going to cut 20 thousandths out of this. We are putting a 20 thousandth shim in, but we're going to end up cutting probably 15 out of this, because obviously we're 4 to 5 deep now. So we cut 15 out, that'll put us at 20, and then we'll go ahead and put our shim in. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's why the block gets cut. So if anytime you're getting counterbores cut, or a shop tells you you need counterbores cut, that is what they're doing, and they're just truing up that hole, making sure that that liner protrusion is right, so that you don't have premature failure 6 months from now, year from now. That head gasket's going to last, going to seal right, and it's going to work for you for a long time. I've done the rest of these, but we'll go ahead and show you. They're pretty consistent. Sometimes you find them that they're not. So here's the next one. and it's sitting right about 5 right there. So, just give it a little tap, and then the next one is pretty consistent with that also. And we're right there about 4.5. So the wear on this is actually consistent, just not where we want it. So we're going to true it back up, and we'll show you that video when we do so. And basically we're going to trim up this ledge and make it look nice and shiny again, and get putting this baby back together. Sitting up here and got to bolt everything on, and we'll go ahead and show you how we cut those, I should say. We did do a video, I've mentioned this before, but previously, you can go back and watch that, but we will do another one here. We get a lot of comments, people asking questions about it. One thing I want to bring up is Jay Wyatt. If you're watching, or anybody knows, you're a buddy of him, he commented on our video and said, hey, the Maxwell coffee can lid works great for a chip collector down in the bottom. And you know what? He's right. In fact, it works better than the chip collector that they sell for 400 bucks. So, at least in my opinion, it fits tight. It fits tighter than what we were using, and so we're going to go ahead and use it. So, Jay, thanks. We're not afraid to learn things here, so we appreciate it. And anybody else wondering, if you don't want to buy a $400 plastic cup, go buy what, $15 can of coffee or whatever they cost. So anyway, yeah, thanks a bunch. We're going to try it out today, but I did stick it in there and it fits awesome. So thanks a bunch, Jay, and we'll try it and see how it goes. Okay, let's get this thing bolted on and get one cut for you. Alright, you get down here tight and just kind of back them off just a little bit. Oh, it's got a little thread cleaning that needs done. We're not going to go tight right now because we're going to center this tool. So right now it's wobbling. Take this spacer out, it'll drop the tool down, allow us to, it'll just kind of center itself. Did you see that? Now the tool's down in, it's centered. And go ahead and tighten these up. We'll just go alternate. Alright. Put that back under there so we can pivot it. And then I'm going to adjust our knife. Let me see if I can get the camera down in there so you can see it. It might be a little tough. Well, can't see it, but where my Allen wrench is. Oh yeah, you can. Right there, if you look, a little knife going in and out as I turn it. So I turn that, use this feeler gauge right here, and slide that down there, and I'm just going to turn that knife out until it touches that feeler gauge. Like so. And then I'm just going to snug up the locks. Like so. And we're ready to cut. One thing you don't want is your knife moving, so turns 3. Alright, get that spacer out of there. Alright, each one of these lines on here is 1/1000th of an inch. It's not 100% accurate depending upon a lot of things, but I've just noticed that 1/1000th of an inch is sometimes not 1/1000th, so you need to really be careful as you do this. So we'll cut a couple thousandths out and then we'll check it and see what it's coming out to be. So I just got it raised up enough I can hear the knife drag a little bit. This is the stop. So what I'll do, if you can see, I've marked a couple lines here. Getting hard to see, but I'll turn that stop like 10/1000ths. Right there. And that way I won't go past that, because once it gets to that point it's going to stop cutting. And sometimes it takes a little bit to get the knife down to where it's cutting even, so we'll start with a couple thousandths, but it might take 4 or 5 to get the knife where it needs to go. There we go. Alright, just get your handle in there. You can hear it kind of starting, but it's not quite there yet. Like I said, you'll move it a lot to get it going. There we go. Alright, now we're going to make sure we're cutting even. Check our tool. I check this 3 or 4 times each time I measure it, because any little bump will change it. So we're zeroed. Put it right down the back here. So far we've maybe cut 1/1000th out of it. So if you remember before we were about 4/1000ths. Really hard to see, but we're sitting about 5 or 6 right now. So we'll go a couple more, just make sure it's going even. I'll check this other side real quick, make sure we're not way out of whack and the tool's crooked or something. You definitely want to know that early on, because you can fix it, but you get to 20/1000ths and you realize that you're 20 on one side and 15 on the other, then you got a lot of trouble. So we just do 2/1000ths at a time. And when it quits cutting, you know you've done your 2, and you just go 2 more. try and take any more than 2, it'll start to chatter and it won't be a smooth cut. The only reason I know that is I've tried. So then you're doing 1/1000th of the time trying to get the chatter marks back out of it. So 2 works pretty good. Zero my gauge again. Very careful when you pull it off of there. I'm sitting about 8/1000 right now. That's 8/1000 deep. We're going to go to 20. If you remember, it was already down about 4 to 6 all the way across this. So. And we're sitting about 8.5 there. We want to stay as straight as we can. One of the things you can do is lean on the tool a little bit. I'm getting more on this side than I'm getting on this side. I can put a little pressure on this right there. In fact, I just cut a little bit out of it. So probably even that up. And that's why you check it a lot, because you can make some changes if you need to. Alright. It's kind of quick cutting there. We'll check it again. Always zero the gauge. Looks like I'm about 12/1000 there.
Stickers came.
Yeah, so I'm about 12/1000 on this side. I'm getting my fat head under here. And oop, about 12 right there. So we were able to even that up just a little bit. Okay, we'll go a couple more. Alright, let's check that. Okay, alright, now as you can hopefully see, here's the zero mark right here. Okay, we've now, that light don't help. Zero mark, there's 10, 15, so we're sitting about 16/1000 deep right now. Okay, so just a few more to go. We'll check the other side, make sure it's staying where it needs to. Yep, it is 16 thousandths deep. Cool. Like I said before, you can kind of lean on this. So you want to make sure and put a little pressure all the way around, at least on the knife side. Just make sure it's getting everything cut out of it. So depending upon where you put your hand as you're cutting, you can put pressure on both sides. So just a matter of getting it nice and straight. Okay, now we're getting a little closer, so I'm going to check that every cut now. We should be pushing 18 if our marks are right. Getting about 18 and a half. Close to 19. We actually got a little bit more. This is why we stop early, because we don't want to go over. Alright, they're sitting at 19 right now. So Cummins advises you cut down to 20, put a shim in, bring it back up. I have cut some at 19 just to try and get another thousandths out of it. Generally, if you put the shim in it, even at 20, without pushing the liners down and getting a good seat, you're still sitting at like 15 or 16 sometimes. So I'll probably go right close to 20. What I don't want to do is go over. So right now, where we're sitting almost 19, I'm probably just going to cut half a thousandths out, clean it up, and that way it'll be under 20, not over 20. And they'll sit up just a skosh high. So once I decide what I'm doing, I'm gonna have to do the rest of them that way. So I'll measure a few times here, make sure of my decision, make sure of the measurement, make sure I'm at 19 and not at 19 and a half. Yeah, so you just want to be really careful as you get to the end of the cut that you're gonna make them all the same. So I'll mess around here, make sure that I'll recheck my zero, wipe the tool off, double check everything before I make that final cut. And if it's different than I measured before, I'll do it again until I get consistent measurements of where we're at. That one's about 18 and a half, actually just pushing the 19 line, so real close to 19. That one's a little less, probably about 18 and a half. So I really can't take a whole lot more out of this. I think we'll go a half a thousandths and see what we get. Might not change a whole lot, but it's better than going over. So basically I just want a half a mark right here. 0 again. That one's dead on 19. That one was pretty much on 19 as well, maybe just a little shy, so we might be a half a thousandths between the two. I think I'll cut one more half out, call it good. And you just want to back that knife back off, just so you don't ding it up. So you got to back these up. A little slot right there. And then we'll spin that around. Take that knife out. Get the tool off of there. If you look down in there, you can see how nice and new and shiny that cut is right there. So that's where we went down 20 thousandths, and then we'll put a shim right there. It'll bring that back up 20 thousandths to our 0 mark, which should really put us in the 14-15-ish range for liner protrusion. As you can see, our Maxwell house cut caught all our flakes. We'll go ahead and get a vacuum and suck all them out and move on to the next one. Awesome. It is kind of time consuming process, so I showed you the one, I went ahead and did the rest, just because it takes most of a day to really go through all that, or at least a good half a day. But let me show you what it looks like here now that they're all done. You can see this groove's nice and clean and machined out. I got that on every one. They're all sitting about 19.5 thousandths deep, so that's going to boost it up a little bit. This is the shim that we use right here, a little brass shim. That thing is 20 thousandths thick, so as that goes down in here, we'll put that down in, and it'll sit down in the groove like so. And then the liner sits on top of that, and that'll boost that liner up where it's supposed to be. And that's pretty much it. And so, you know, I don't do the video to show you really how to cut it, but more so to let you know what's being done when your vehicle is at the shop and it needs counterbores cut, so you have an idea what they're doing. If you have the tool, I guess, yeah, go ahead and tackle it yourself, but you just got to be careful not to cut too deep. Make sure it's cutting straight, because then you got your bad block on your hands. So anyway, yeah, we'll get this back together for this guy. Liners will be up where they're supposed to be. We'll put a head on it, and the head gasket will seal, and should last him a long time. Thanks for watching.